What it do, homies? We are out here with some more Vocaloid. This time we are checking out Language of the Lost featuring Kasane Teto by RRP or RI Producer. Let's go ahead and shut up and turn it up.
In the city of the dead, I lay stuck inside my bed. The house burns down around me. The language of the lost pouring from their open mouths. Nobody can hear a thing. Suddenly I'm breathing in the smoke, surrounded by the bodies. As I'm tugging on my chains, I'll be swallowed by the flames. Freedom dripping from the sink. I don't need forgiveness, I just wanna talk and for you to listen. I know I'd only raise the suspicion of my cause. My bones, they throb to the beat of your heart. Am I your robot or a doll? Am I anything at all?
Oh, wait. Before we get deep into this, right? Because this is like one of them songs where it's like continuous. You know what I mean? Where I don't really get a chance to pause and collect my thoughts as I'm listening to this. Because sometimes when the beat is nice and groovy, or even nice and groovy, when it's got a nice little steady pulse like this has, it's very easy to kind of get caught up into listening and everything. But I got to talk about what's going on here. So immediately, right? The language of the lost. I'm just sitting here thinking about just socializing, right? Just one-on-one in-person socializing for zero reason, right? Just striking up a conversation. A while back, I was in a car accident and I had to take a bus to work, you know, and a drive is about 20 minutes to get there in car. So on a bus, it took me about an hour and 30 to get there. And I found it, I'm a social person. You know, I'm an extrovert. What's the word? I'm an introverted extrovert. When I'm in, I'm in. But when I'm out, I will socialize. You know what I mean? And I like to socialize face to face. It's probably because I work a customer service job, but I like to socialize face to face. But nobody really does that. They're kind of just all stuck inside their devices and everything. So when you say in the city of the dead, I'm sitting there thinking because there's no life. Everybody's kind of just getting sucked into their devices and whatnot. And then that language of the lost is just conversation between me and you. Right? That I can't have it. That's what my first initial thoughts are. It was just so much going on right here, and then went straight into what I perceive as the chorus. And I was just like, hold on now. I didn't even perceive what you just said.
Of the dead, I lay stuck inside my bed. The house burns down around me. The language of the lost pouring from their open mouths. Nobody can hear a thing.
Right? Nobody can hear a thing pouring from their mouth. Nobody can hear a thing. Nobody can hear a thing as in you're simply not paying attention, or you're not paying attention. So headphones, you're ignoring them all the same.
Suddenly I'm breathing in the smoke, surrounded by the bodies. As I'm tugging on my chains, I'll be swallowed by the flames. Freedom dripping from the sink. I don't need forgiveness, I just wanna talk and for you to listen. I know I'd only raise the suspicion of my cause.
Yeah, I can get that, right? I don't know what to make of the swallowed by the flame. It's surrounded in smoke, surrounded by bodies. I guess if you try to bring attention to the cause, that could be kind of like, you know, too much attention, right? That's kind of brought to you, and really you were just trying to get the attention of like one person. And then the suspicion of my cause, I start talking to you, you're kind of looking at me like, well, what did I do? Hold on, don't hurt me and everything, right? Because it's just these days so awkward to strike up a conversation. You know what I mean?
My bones, they throb to the beat of your heart. Am I your robot or a doll? Am I anything at all? Maybe it's all like me, doesn't even need to know. Am I big or am I small? Hunching over, standing tall. I lost my identity, was so very long ago. Software what they reinstall, scary things I can't recall. Making the best of it, never even knowing why. On my knees I try to crawl, fire breaking in the walls, calling out for somebody, knowing I get no reply. As I woke up from the dream, I had lost all self-esteem. The burning home had caught me. I thought that I was safe, now I'll never be the same. Tossed aside for making a scene. Do I know who I
You had a dream. You had a dream about being more social, and then you were tossed aside with it. Tossed aside for making a scene. I wouldn't necessarily say like really tossed aside for making a scene. It's just that if somebody had a perception of you, right, and it was neutral, now it's negative because you didn't go about this a specific way that they wanted you to, right? So all first impressions are just ruined. They're just gone.
Making a scene. Do I know who I pretend to be? Of whom am I a copy? Yes, it made me who I am, but I'll never understand why it had to happen to me.
It's sudden sometimes.
Mental sickness. Hallelujah, no one ever listens. If only I erase my suspicion of the cause. Would you have noticed it at all if I'm a robot or a doll? Am I anything at all? Maybe a thing like me doesn't it deserve to know? Am I big or am I small? Hunching over, standing tall. I lost my identity also very long ago. Ones and zeros, true or false. Reset system to default. Faking the rest of it, but I can't remember why. On my knees I try to crawl. Fire truck collapsing walls. Crying out for somebody. There is no one to reply.
Catchy chorus. You know what we're saying? Oh, I'm gonna go back. Oh man, I can't believe I just paused during a solo. That is a sin in both the metal world and I'm not too sure in the Vocaloid world. I didn't mean to. I just wanted to go back to where they said if I had raised my suspicion of the cause, if I had checked myself for why I was doing the things, and maybe I would not have lost myself. Oh, I see, right? If I had come to terms with what I was about to do, I would not have done that. And therefore you would not have noticed me. So I almost kind of felt compelled to do these things for you to notice me. But now I'm kind of in a lost space, right? Okay. Let me go back to the start of that solo. My bad. The higher pitch of that kind of has a lackadaisy kind of mood or method to it. Really, it's a pitch bend. It really just the way that it is. It's almost kind of like you just going through life and everything while all of these mechanics and stuff are just working. You know what I mean? Where you're kind of just paying attention to what's on the surface while everything underneath is just forever rotating and calculating without you knowing. You know, kind of like a tank, if you will. That's the best way I acknowledge, everything on the top, you got all these big boomsticks and everything, but there's a lot of mechanism that's going on that's making that move and everything. That's probably a terrible analogy, but y'all know what I mean. And I think giving the concept of what we're talking about here, especially saying that if you had noticed a suspicion, you know what I mean? Yeah, I guess a tank could be a good analogy, right? Because tanks are pretty big, but without all of that complex mechanisms underneath moving it, the tank can't go anywhere. So therefore, its big, huge impressiveness is stuck, in a place where it cannot be seen. So you obviously have to make some sacrifices. But then, in order to do that, you reduce some of its greatness in order to achieve. Now that can be both positive and a negative thing. You know what I mean? Oh man, I'm really getting away from here. Keep this going. the last part of this kind of put things into perspective a little bit more. Um, is this some kind of like a lack of self-love? Is that what this is about? Right? Self-love, the lack of thereof. You start if you don't love yourself for who you are, then things start falling apart because you're trying to pretend to be the loving part of you, even though it's I don't know. I've already yapped enough. It's kind of crazy that it's because now I'm going back and thinking about it. And when I put it into the scope of the lack of self-love, this kind of makes sense. But you can go down in the comments. Yeah, but no, I ain't reading all that. Not right now. Y'all let me know, right? Because if this is your first time on my channel, this is generally how I do Vocaloid reactions. It's generally how I do most music reactions. I don't just listen. I can't, my brain would not allow it to. I got to talk. So if you like more of this, subscribe. I'm going to be doing some more Vocaloid reactions. Most of these come from the comments, actually, kind of relying on you guys since I'm somewhat of a newbie. I've only been reacting to these things for about a month, but I've loved what I've heard so far. So until the next one, Dave's out.